Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Saturday morning, so you know it's time for another live edition of The Extra Point. Got P.O. Coach in the house. And back in the homeland, Tasha T. Sizzle. The T. Sizzle, before we go any further, we just want to extend a heartfelt thank you for coming through to the United States and gracing us down here in Texas with your love, with your joy, with the laughter, and most of all, your cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had to go back to my own cooking the last 7 days. It's been a struggle. It's been
hey, you've been surviving all this time. You gonna do good. You're gonna be okay.
Yes, but I was surviving pre-Tosh. I was thriving during the weekly trip, and then I'm back to survival mode. Tasha, first off, let's start with you. You're looking beautiful, by the way. I'm loving the locks. You got a little hang time going. Hashtag Vince Carter. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, brown skin. All right. Tasha, before we get into sports, because we got a lot to discuss today. First off, how does it feel being back home after your American United States tour that you've been on for the last couple of months?
It feels fantastic. I missed my mans. I missed my pets. I missed everything. But now what I'm missing is being back home. It's like when I come home, reality hit, and it's like you're back here. There's no more Chick-fil-A. There's no more convenience of going out to get some food. There's no more, all the conveniences and the niceties and all of that is gone.
Well, we certainly miss you here. That week flew by way too fast, but it's good to see your face again. Looks like the time has really flown since last Saturday. All right, so the people came here for sports. Let's give them some sports. Tasha, I'm going to start a sentence, and I want to see if you can finish it for me. All right, here we go. Jets.
Mess.
Yes, we're here. The mess that is the New York Jets is the gift that keeps on giving this show. Tasha, you were with me Monday night, your last night in town, when we watched the New York Jets lose yet again on Monday night to the Buffalo Bills. They have now dropped to 2-4. And just like 2 weeks ago in London, your guy, Aaron Rodgers, had the ball in his hands late with the final possession with a chance to win the game, and he turned the ball over through a horrendous interception. His fourth in the last 2 games. Tasha, we're reaching Will Levis type.
Oh, wait, and let him tell it. It was Williams' fault. It was the receiver's fault because he didn't run the right route.
Ladies and gentlemen, he did throw his receiver, Mike Williams, under the bus. But if anybody with 2 eyes or with a phone that has access to social media saw that he severely underthrew that ball, Mike Williams damn near broke his neck trying to haul that ball in. He was stretched out, laid wide.
Literally. You know what? You better not.
I'm not.
Yo, we almost had a wreck because of this. Never mind. We'll get into it later.
Wait a minute. Now, we normally save our shout outs for the end of the show, but good morning to Miss Farah saying, why are you defending that man? Oh, well, stay tuned, Farah. Stay tuned. Because my question to you is, and Tasha, where we picked up, that's some Will Levis type buffoonery going on with New York. What is it about Aaron Rodgers, Tasha, that gives him this type of cachet to completely control a franchise at this stage of his career?
Well, look at that franchise. The franchise is dismal at best. They haven't won anything since Joe Namath was out there in pantyhose and a floor-length mink coat. Let's just start there. That's a franchise that they want something, and they're so desperate to want something and have something, which is a championship, that they're willing to do whatever it takes. And I put this on Twitter, and I said, Aaron Rodgers is so petty that he threw that NFC championship game
when he could have scrambled.
When he could have scrambled in, and they would have went to the Super Bowl and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that year. And we all know Tom Brady went on, led the Buccaneers, and they won the Super Bowl that year.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I'm pretty sure he is petty enough to play horrible enough to get Salah fired. And then when his buddy got demoted, he's like, oh, I'll throw this again just to show y'all that I'm in control. I don't like what you did to my friend. So guess what? Whatever offensive scheme you running, I'm not gonna take accountability.
Okay. So we're coming in hot this morning. Good morning, Langston and Gold Blue. Yes, we're about to put hands on the University of Illinois today at 2:30 Central Time on CBS. Mark your calendars. Tasha, that is interesting that you say that, because I had the mindset that he would do anything to get Salah up out the paint during the London game when Woody Johnson told Salah basically it was win or go home. It was playoffs or pink slips, and he got the boot. Nathaniel Hackett, to the people who are unfamiliar with what she's talking about, was a friend of Aaron Rodgers. He's a putrid, horrible offensive play caller. He was horrible at Denver.
Why do you say putrid?
He's a horrible play caller at Denver. Horrible play caller for the Jets. Now, Tasha, we watched
Farrah, I done forgave you.
Right, Farrah.
You let me luxuriate in your lovely abode with your lovely woman, and we enjoyed our time. But Farrah, don't make me take the plane.
Right, we did. And
make myself another drink in that cute machine
now,
that y'all have.
Now, wait a minute. She says number 24, LOL, and not to digress too far, but the University of North Carolina gave up 70 points to James Madison. So we're going to digress on that. Tasha, back to the Jets. Now, why we mad at Rodgers' nepotism? Y'all see Browning score 17 last night, didn't you? Let me digress.
But in that instance, Langston, why would it be his nepotism? Off of one Super Bowl, you're getting the benefit of the doubt that you're the greatest or one of the greatest of all time off of one Super Bowl. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie like he does and say that he's not a top tier quarterback of all time.
Is he? Wait a minute. Hold on, Tasha. Let's pause right there, because we can dissect that. He's on the same tier as supposedly as Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
No, I put him on a tier below them.
Okay, so if he's okay, all right, okay, because I was ready to say if you put him on that tier, there's no comparison. Now let's move ahead, because after he threw Mike Williams under the bus, he promptly facilitates, and let's all keep it real, Tasha. We know this was Aaron Rodgers' deal to bring in his former teammate, Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Davante Adams, who came over, and the deal was for a 2025 conditional third-round pick that can be moved up to a second-round pick if certain escalators are met, which the way he used to target Adams in the past, I think those escalators would be met. Tasha, what are your thoughts on this move? Is this going to get them back in the race at 2-4?
No, and it's stupid. Like I put in the chat, I can't say what I specifically said.
Please don't.
But I said I ain't never seen no man chase another man like that. Most athletes at his caliber are chasing rings. You've seen it in the NBA, really in the NBA. You've seen a lot of players that go to teams.
Okay, looks like Tasha has frozen on us, so I will pick up where she left off there, and we'll get her back here in just a second. What she was saying was it was kind of odd to see Davante Adams, a player of his ilk at this stage of his career, choose to go play with a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers over taking maybe a better situation to win a ring. She says, I agree with that. Now, Jarrell, Solo Sports checks in. He says, A-Rod is a bad teammate. Real leaders don't point fingers and blame others for losses. I agree with that 1,000%. But my question to you all, which when Tasha comes back, we'll get her thoughts on that as well. Does this put the Jets, who are currently at 2-4, back in the playoff race? Do you think the addition of Davante Adams can get them back on board? She says maybe low key, but wow. Now,
sorry guys, I was on the wrong Wi-Fi. We have like 3.
No, you're good. 3 Wi-Fi. Somebody's rich.
Well, no, because these houses are built out of cinder blocks, so the Wi-Fi doesn't go. So we have 3 different Wi-Fis, and my laptop was upstairs, and I was still connected to that one. Sorry.
Okay, well, welcome back. Now, Farrah being messy this morning says maybe they're low-key boyfriends. I mean, still,
He
y'all can get
chased.
together in the off season, can't you?
Didn't he chase? He chased Derek Carr to
To Las
Vegas.
Vegas in the first place, which was a odd move.
Right, but just very odd. Because when has anyone ever said, "Yeah, I want to play with Derek Carr"? Like never. And then now he's in. I mean, you put this cryptic post up of Edgar Allan Poe having everyone saying, "Oh, I want to go to the Raiders," which, dude, you top tier talent, but they really don't need you. If you
The Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, right?
Yeah, the Ravens. They
Right.
don't really need you because they have two very, very good wide receivers. And Troy Aikman even gave them all the credit, talking about how they run their routes precisely and
Right.
usually where they need to be.
Right. Zay Flowers has really progressed.
This is just an odd move for me. Again, I don't understand why he's chasing quarterbacks. You should be chasing rings. I get why he said the Ravens because that's my pick to win it all, even over my Niners. But why not Kansas City?
Right.
Like everyone says, Kansas City is the juggernaut, which they are because they're still the champs until further notice.
Right.
Why not try to go to a team like that is on the cusp of winning it all?
Right. And I know that I catch a lot of flack for my Cowboys fandom here, but even the Cowboys seem like it would have been a better situation than the Jets.
Yes.
And Langston agrees with you. He said, let's be honest, it's simply the Jets' ineptitude that makes them submitting to whatever Rodgers wants. That could be a reason why he wanted to go there anyway, because you're not pulling that in a more established franchise.
Right.
Good morning to the third member of the team, Michigan Mike. Go blue, Mike. Now, there's another aspect to this that I'm curious to get your thoughts on, Tasha, and that's Garrett Wilson. Because Garrett Wilson, prior to this move, had led the NFL in targets. He had 23 targets alone in London, and we saw firsthand watching Monday Night Football, they were getting him that rock and was finding him early and often. Do you think this could pose a problem for Garrett Wilson if his touches start to decrease?
How many yards did Garrett Wilson have last year without?
It was over 1,000. He was on the precipice.
So we're going to sit up and say the decline is all on him. Again, they keep giving old Lyron the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Why? You can't
because of that one championship he won 30 years ago
for the ball not coming to him.
Right. Now, to play Angel's advocate, because we don't advocate for the devil on this show. And good morning, Melanie. Having Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams, when he has a decent quarterback to throw him the ball, he's still highly productive. Who do you double team in this instance? And you still have Breece Hall as a running back, a top 5 running back in the NFL. Do you think this offense will finally take off and look like what it's supposed to look like?
But I don't think so, because I think Lyron is the problem.
Okay, well, Jarrell says, this could help Garrett Wilson. They can move him to a slot receiver where he can dominate.
Yes, he does need to be in the slot.
I think that they should be better. I'm just not sure that at 2-4 and you're buried behind Buffalo, who we are going to transition to right now. I don't know if you're going to have enough to catch them, but on paper, if you're a Jets fan, you should be happy about this move.
I mean, if you're looking at it like you said on paper, you should be happy. But how many sacks did he get? Did he have last Monday?
Right, and I'm worried that his 40-year-old ass is not going to be able to keep getting up from those blindside hits. Who is protecting the blind side? Can we get the kid from Memphis back on the roster? Digress. Now, the team that they're chasing in the division is the Buffalo Bills, and Buffalo didn't stand pat and just watch them upgrade their roster. They went out and got Amari Cooper. Now, the terms of this deal, the Buffalo Bills received Amari Cooper and a 2025 6th-round pick in exchange for a 2025 3rd-round pick and a 2026 6th-round pick. Now, Tasha, we saw Buffalo. Last week you were kind of lauding their weapons with Shakir and with your boy Keon Coleman starting to come into his own. Dalton Kincaid is a decent tight end. Now, adding an Amari Cooper, does this put Buffalo in the echelon of the Kansas City, Baltimore, Houston tier, in your opinion?
I'm not going to say it puts them up there. What it does, it just gives them more weapons. And I watched this interview where they, interviewing some of the players, and Keon is my favorite. He was like, it's like when you get somebody else in the household with a job, you bring in more money into the house, so it helps the house flow better. And
Right.
I'm paraphrasing kind of what he said, but
Right.
you got another receiver, you're giving your quarterback more options
Right.
to throw, and that kind of leans toward what Josh Allen was saying.
Right.
You don't have a me. I have to have all the numbers type team. Now,
Right.
well, I mean, we all know that was a dig at Stephon,
Right. Right.
but
Ah, nice.
but now, I mean, this actually feeds into what he was saying. You have all of these weapons out here to throw at. Now, if they don't do any better, we're gonna have to start looking at Josh Allen.
We are, and I am a huge fan of his game, especially the non-hero ball version of Josh Allen that has a decent run game. They had a rookie backup that came in, Davis, that had the most scrimmage yards of a rookie they had in 20 years. Cook is a good running back, but they have balance.
He'll be
and
back. He was out last game. He'll be back, so that'll open up the offense a little more too.
He'll be back, and that will open up the offense. I like them. Defensively, they don't have a lot of stars, but they make timely plays. And I don't know. I think that move alone should negate the Adams to New York move. Now, Jarrell says,
I mean, Von Miller is back, and everybody keeps counting
no.
out. It's just
count me in as one.
I mean, when those first few games that he was playing in, he was dominating. It's just his off the field issues that he can't get together, because he came back after that injury and he's still looking of course, he's not Denver Broncos Von Miller. He's not even LA Rams Von Miller, but he's one of the best things they have on that defense.
He's a cab. A CAB, a choker bee. He's a choker bee now.
What did I say? Hey, every now and then.
Stop it. No, we're going to digress. Now, Jarrell says.
You need one of them on your team.
No, stop it. Now, Jarrell says, I still don't trust Nino Brown, Aaron Rodgers, because he will burn down the Carter if things go left.
He will.
He will.
Jarrell, you and I are here.
No, all three of us are here. We'll do a circular thing, because I totally agree. If you just ask Robert Saleh, the man got walked out by security. Now Kenny man checks in. He says Kawhi Leonard just stealing money. He never healthy. Every season he gets injured. He needs to retire. The Clippers will never be them guys. The Clippers karma for dissing the Lakers and for Kawhi Leonard dissing LeBron James. Oh, please stay tuned, Kenny. We got a special segment just for you with Tasha T. Sizzle for that. Kawhi Leonard, if he enters a toe hand, he will be out for years. Tasha, don't do that. You know, Tasha. Don't do that. You know that man out here stealing money. And F Dak. Oh, let's
Dak just got engaged over the weekend to his
and somebody sent me a message, said he chasing the wrong ring.
How you log out of here?
No, you gonna log back in. You ain't logging out of nothing. We got to talk about this.
This is the time my Wi-Fi need to go out.
No. We need you, and we need your Wi-Fi. Now, Langston, we're going to transition into that. Wait a minute. Hold on. Tell us how you really feel. Oh, Mike, don't do that, Mike. Mike, don't. Just sip your coffee and enjoy the morning and kiss beautiful Ray on her forehead for me.
Sip your Dominican coffee, Mike.
Sip your Dominican coffee, Mike, and he's going to enjoy these next two segments, I'm pretty sure. Now, before we transition into the Cowboys and I go off on all of y'all, Cleveland. Now, the Browns traded away Amari Cooper. Obviously, they're punting on the season. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They have the worst offense in the league, and then you get rid of one of your best offensive weapons. Now, Nick Chubb is set to return from his gruesome injury he suffered a year ago. But if you're Nick Chubb and or Myles Garrett, Tasha, are you trying to get up out of Cleveland by the November 5th trade deadline?
If I was Myles Garrett, I would. Nick Chubb doesn't have that option because he's coming off of that horrific injury.
We'll take you in Dallas.
I mean, yeah, but he needs to go out. What he has to do is show teams that he's able to still perform at the level that he was, because he was beasting. He was giving me so many points on my fantasy.
He was. I should have stashed him.
I am a Nick Chubb fan. I would love to see him go somewhere other than stay in Cleveland. But he pretty much is kind of stuck there at this
Right. Yeah. The return on the investment with his injury history would not probably be worth them letting him go. Might as well let him finish out the season. Myles Garrett, get on the horn, because we did see Max Crosby, the talented defensive edge rusher for the Raiders, say after the Devontae Adams trade, I didn't come here to rebuild. I'm here to win. So get me out of here.
Aiden Hutchinson is out for the season. Miles is it's the next. Just go north.
If you're Detroit, what is it worth to your second round pick next year? Maybe even a second and a third to pretty much ensure you a championship.
I mean, it's like you look at teams like Cleveland that have these phenomenal players, and their talent is being wasted because they show spurts of we can do this, and then they just, because those organizations are not used to winning, so they're used to just going back down to the bottom because they don't know how to be on the top. And I'm not a fan of Freak Nasty. I don't care how bad he plays. I'm gonna
Deshaun Watson for you first time viewers. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put him out there till his neck get broken because I'm paid you this money. It ain't no I'm sick. Get your ass out there. You can keep throwing them interceptions. We don't care, but you gonna play. Right.
You want to remind the fans of the move that you made and let them be the deciding factor.
Because you saw what's the Texans owner?
McNair.
His wife was trolling Cleveland for paying him that much money. Like that has to be the all-time worst deal across any sports ever.
It's hard to put one above that right off the top of my head. Good morning, Martrice Hastings. Martrice, can you put your business handle in the comment section? We want to make sure that people get a hold of the wonderful products that you provide.
Get your Royal Engagement t-shirts.
Right. The swag, which we will be donning and premiere next week when Mike is back on board. Good morning to you. He says, how'd that get a girl? The cologne he wear is called INT because you can't score.
He got that girl because he paid.
Hey.
And she was there before he got the 60 million, but he still had some cheese.
Hey, what did Eddie Murphy say about Johnny Carson on the Raw stand-up? He said, "Hey, baby, I'm Johnny Carson. I know who you are." It's like, I know who you are.
Because that girl from Florida and wasn't living nowhere in Dallas.
She did the scissor kick. She did the TV antenna. As Mike says, she clapped him. She was like, the fellas, you know the faithful move where they won't let you up. You stay right there. That's the move of death, Tasha. You grinning because you know what I'm talking about. That's the move of death, fellas. Go ahead, start shopping for baby patterns.
And you're matching PJs.
You're right, and you're matching PJs. Thank you, Martrice. Kenny, you still too young for that kind of talk. Now let's get to Dallas because the Cowboys, Tasha, and not only was this one of the most humiliating and embarrassing performance that I can remember from the Dallas Cowboys, it just had to happen when Tasha was in town to watch me crash and burn live. I couldn't believe it. So for those who were maybe in jail and you just got out on warrants, welcome back to society. Last Sunday, the Cowboys had a big game against Detroit. Detroit ran the score up so bad that they had their offensive tackles playing wide receiver, running routes and stuff. It was the worst home loss.
Ladders.
Right. It was the worst home loss in Tennessee Titans history. Tennessee Titans history and Dallas Cowboys history, and it just happened to be on Jerry Jones' birthday. Just couldn't get any worse. Now, with that being the backdrop, Jerry Jones was in no mood for the foolishness during his Tuesday weekly radio hit on 105.3 The Fan here in Dallas on the Sean and RJ show. Now, Sean and RJ have been known trolls of Jerry Jones, and this time when they tried to troll him, Jerry clapped TF back. Basically was saying, it's not your job to ask me about my offseason moves. It's not your job to question my decisions. And I'm not going to sit here and have you talk about all the wrong moves that I made without talking about the right. And if you can't get on board with what I'm putting down, then I can get somebody else to do it. So The second he said that, everybody and their mama jumped up and said, "Oh, Jerry's trying to get these men fired." Tasha, was Jerry's actions fair or foul?
I think they were foul. Not the way he felt. It's just the fact that
Tasha, before you answer, Jarrell said that move got me 3 kids. Yep, you know that move. When the neck's smelling good and you just kind of there, you.
But see, if I would have said that, y'all just let the record show. If I would have said that, he would have been ready to censor me.
I would have. I would have, because I would have. And you're right. That is not fair, Tasha, and I apologize. But that's true. You can't say that's not true. Y'all know when. All right, go ahead. Okay, back to you, Tasha. Was that fair or foul by Jerry Jones?
I thought it was foul by Jerry Jones because a man of his caliber and his stature, I just don't think he should have came that way. But the thing is, Jerry is built for that. Like you told me in the chat that, you know, they had been trolling him, just like you just told us now. If they've been trolling him, Jerry should be used to it. I think what hit the button is the fact that it was his birthday and the manner in which they got beat so bad. So when the reporter was saying this or asking him them questions, I think those questions hit home. I really think it did. But I just think Jerry, like I said, with a man of his stature, he should be able to conduct himself just a little bit different. I don't mind him saying what he said at all, but I just think it could have just, I don't know. It was tacky for Jerry.
Okay, and I want to pick up from there. Good morning, AP Coulter. Papa mad he lost on his birthday. It was. And good morning, Stephanie Coulter. Yes, you see me repping the Una Bears. I'm going to turn around and show that last name on the back of the shirt to close the show. He said Jerry finally crashed out. Now here we go. Fair. Mama said it was fair. They came that way for Jerry. Turn around is fair play. All right, now you coming down my road, AP Coulter.
I mean, no, I don't have a problem with Jerry's feelings. I just think a man of his stature
shouldn't punch down like that.
Right. That's my thing.
Now, I got a couple of rants that I want to get off my chest, and these aren't directed towards Tasha T. Sizzle. This is just in general. One our favorite uncle, that looks just like the avatar that you said.
They don't make it anymore. They took it off.
Oh, wow. Well, our favorite uncle, Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shay, he went on First Take. He was on First Take when the news broke. And he basically said that, hold on, let me try to do it like Shannon Sharp. I loathe, I despise, I hate a man that punches down on the weak. I just hate a man. It shows you a lot about his character. No, wait a minute. It shows you a lot about the man's character. And I'm out. If Jerry Jones never win another game, I'll be good with that. Skip. Tasha, for him to say that he hates to see a man punch down on the weak, wasn't, now, I'm old enough to remember, Tasha, Shannon Sharp on live national television trying to fight John Morant's daddy at the Lakers game.
But he had just come off that hip surgery, so maybe they put them on the even playing field.
No, he said Jerry was acting like a young old dude. Now, this was a crash out. Torrance says, why threaten the radio host to get fired, but not threaten his coach? Oh, okay. So I want to get to that.
Go back.
You want to leave that up there? I want to get to that. This is my thing with the radio host and the media, Torrance, that I have a huge issue with when it comes to Jerry Jones. And if you haven't been following the show, I am the biggest Jerry Jones apologist this side of the Texas border.
You are.
I am, admittedly. Now, Tasha, and I may have told you this off wax, but I want to share it with the people. Jerry Jones is not going live during games on his Facebook Live. He's not doing a podcast. He's not reaching out to the media, being a pick-me, as the kids say. Whenever we see Jerry Jones talking, it's because the media has 1,000 microphones in his face asking for questions. So once they get the sound bites from said Jerry Jones, they run back to their platforms and blast him for talking to the media too much. Does anyone not find the hypocrisy in what I'm saying. One of the prevailing thoughts about Jerry Jones is that he talks too much. It's all about him. He only cares about money. He only cares about the brand and doesn't care about winning. But when the game is over, they don't go. The media, the national media, does not go to the locker room to talk to the players or the coach. They run to Jerry Jones. They literally check the meeting that he had after the game Sunday. Did you notice Kimberly Martin, all the national reporters around with the microphone in his face? He didn't go running them down. They came to him. And then once they get the soundbite, they blame him for talking. Tasha, help me understand that.
I mean, I think because they know Jerry is going to give them the fuel.
Yeah. Now, he is wrong. I mean, he will do that. He will take the bait.
Yeah, he's going to take the bait. So why not go to, like when you on the news, when something happens, who do we always see them interviewing? The one who gonna embarrass themselves and everything around them because it makes for good TV.
That's a great counterpoint, Tasha. That's a great counterpoint because I was truly wondering that. Langston says, why are people acting like the loss is a surprise? It's just as Langston Thomas.
I hate it here.
Come on home. Steph said, oh, Shannon was just trying to test them new hips out. Leave them alone.
No, go back. Langston Thomas. How do I get on the show?
The Torah said, then can he simply not talk? And I asked Tasha this.
No,
now it was I don't think so either. He can't just not talk because y'all have created this Frankenstein now. You can't put him back on the lab table after you created him. But what I will say as far as can he not talk, and this is being serious, and Langston, I'm asking you and everybody in the chat as well as Tasha. How many championships do you think the Cowboys would have had since 1995, their last one, if Jerry never talked to the media? Like, if you want to quantify on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a distraction he is, and I'm not trolling right now. I'm really asking because I'm an apologist, so I have a certain level of defense mechanism in place for Jerry as it is. Like, I don't see the problem with him talking and how that's affecting the play.
Well, I do. I just don't. Again, I don't like. How do I put this?
Do you agree with what Farrah just said? Other drivers just drive home. Jerry stays because he wants the media.
He does. He wants that, and that is what Jerry says really doesn't have an effect, in my opinion, on how the team is out there performing. If that makes sense. Like Jerry can get out there and say, "Oh, the sky is green, the grass is blue." What they got to do with the product on the field? You get
make the tackle, make the catch, CD Lamb, make the block.
Exactly. But what I think Jerry does is put more eyes on the situation. If Jerry didn't bring that attention, I don't think any of this would just be as big as it is. Like everyone wants to keep saying it's America's team. It's America's team.
It is.
It's Jerry's team. Jerry does.
That, Tasha.
It is. It's Jerry's team. It's not. People say it's America's team because Jerry is doing the in order: money, the brand, then winning. Jerry Jones wants that money. Jerry Jones wants that cowboy name. That's his legacy. That's for his family. That's for his children, his grandchildren.
Great point. Great point.
So he's not going to ever let that brand go by the wayside. So that's why he's going to always be on camera talking. Right. Because he's really just promoting his brand regardless of the outcome on the field. Now, Kenny says they could have had a few, but you know Dallas fans are going to be Dallas fans. Jerry do it to himself. Yes, we will, because I will turn around and say we them boys right here, right now, knowing there ain't a snowball's chance in hell that we're going to be in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Okay, all right. Can we have a TED? Now here come Mike with a paragraph. Lord, I'm scared to read it. He says he did his job. No one is talking about how bad they are. Talking about Jerry trying to get hosts fired. I personally like how he talking about how bad they are. Mike. I apologize, Mike. I apologize. I was being sensitive before I even read it. No, they are talking about how bad they are. They're talking about the loss on his birthday, which set up those announcers to ask him those questions and cause Jerry to go off. They're talking about all of it. They're talking about how he responded. They're still talking about that loss. They're talking about all of that, but it all points back to old Gerald.
It does.
what he wants.
Right. You're right, Tasha. And you know, I like to fight y'all in the chat when we're off wax, but we have a rule. When you're in the booth, you have to tell the truth. And that's tough to hear as a Cowboys fan, but that nothing you said was incorrect. Two things can be correct because I like Mike's comment as well that he liked how Jerry clapped back because the thing is Jerry can't. Is an 82-year-old man. He ain't gonna be a punching bag your whole damn life.
And what 80-year-olds y'all know don't speak their mind.
Right. Because I'm getting to that age now. You know, when the sack starts sagging, you just don't. Now, Martree says Jerry lives for the clicks and tussle in the media. He doesn't care about wins or the Super Bowl as long as the team name remains relevant, good or bad. He could care less. And Mike want to throw her a handkerchief talking about preach Martree Hastings. Now about to go off. I wasn't gonna raise my voice.
She really just eloquently said what I said. It ain't about winning for Jerry. He can get on there and preach. That's what he wants. All he wants. But Jerry, if you really want that team to win, you're going to let that team play. You're going to let somebody else make decisions. You're because you said Steven is actually running the team. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, Steven is more of the day-to-day. Jerry's the figurehead at this point.
But I mean, do you really think that Steven is going to tell his dad no on any decision? Like if Steven
I think he will tell his dad no, but he can't make his dad accept no. I think it's that. I think he will tell his dad no, but he won't be able to fully do that until Jerry's in the upper room. And the way Jerry's kicking around, he might beat all of us.
They're out here making babies down there on Henry Hines and everything else.
Stop it. Jerry is losing fans trust. My partners and I literally have stopped watching. The fact that I didn't know they were playing on that day. But first, the Steelers is insane. Langston, come on home. Come on home, bro. Don't let it get. Don't do that. Like y'all, Jerry Jones gave you ingrates 3 Super Bowls. Do you remember who the Dallas Cowboys were?
Why did you call him Ingram?
No, because I tried to stay calm. Do you remember the Dallas Cowboys in the 80s when Tom Landry lost his luster, when Danny White was the quarterback, when Too Tall Jones and Tony Dorsett and Drew Pearson and Everson Walls, all of those great players aged out, and Dallas was the laughingstock of the NFC. He bought that team, fired Tom Landry, hired the Jimmy Johnson, got 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, turned them into a global brand again. And this is the thanks. Now I see why Dr. Dre says I started this gangster-ish, and it's the thanks I get. Y'all gonna raise up off of Jerry Jones. Candyman says this Dallas is like Magic Johnson, magical Mac. Right, that was bad. I mean, the loss was bad. No, the loss was bad. AP helped me out. Jerry knows the media is talking about him. No one's going on about that. Russell, Mama, okay. Now this was an enlightening moment. You cooking, AP? You cooking because Tasha, we might be able to wrap it up on this one.
They're still talking about that loss. That interview and that loss are hand in hand now, along with his birthday.
But I like where AP Culture is going with this. This may have been a calculated move by Jerry Jones because now everybody's talking about him crashing out on the radio and not how far away Dallas looks like from being a legitimate contender in the NFC. Because the narrative on Monday was all about Dallas got the ass whooped. The narrative on Tuesday was Jerry Jones. I like that. But AP, I like that.
But they're still talking. They are still talking about that loss.
That's what pertains to Jerry Jones. But I think I like how he took the pressure off his team.
You can't say the interview doesn't coincide with the loss. They're still talking about that loss because they're saying, oh, you want to go off on them because your team went out there and got their ass drugged.
Right, but I think that he stood in front of the team to take the bullet. So now that's going to be the talk leading up to the San Francisco game next Sunday night, which should be interesting because San Francisco is just as horrendous as the Cowboys this year. Now, let's move on to some college football. And thank you, AP Culture, for that insight. That made me feel a little bit better, and I feel a little better about that. Now, Kitty Man says the loss is equivalent to the Warriors being up 3-1 against Cleveland and losing to who was that did that? I think his name was LeBron James that did that. Started with the loss, finished with Jerry. Yes, that's what he stood in front of the train and took that hit.
But they still talking about the loss. Like y'all keep missing that. It is about Jerry. But when they keep talking about this interview, that loss is still there because that's what preceded him going off, because they were asking questions about what he was doing in the offseason as to why they got their ass kicked last week.
But and to Langston's point, nobody on the show picked Dallas to win that game, and I don't think anybody thought Dallas was going to win that game with all of their defensive starters out in the first place. It was just the way in which the loss went down, and Detroit running up the score. Now, somebody that will remain nameless said that Detroit got bad karma for blitzing and doing all of that up 30 points in that second half, and that's what happened to Aiden Hutchinson. Y'all can take that for what it's worth, but the football gods wasn't happy about y'all trying to make a fool out of Jerry on his birthday, and it cost you your best defensive player and your best player overall for the rest of the year.
That didn't come from me.
It did not come from Tasha. It came off wax, but that's something to think about, Detroit. The next time you want to come into America's team's house, the $1 billion playpen, and run up the score and embarrass the greatest owner in the history of sports, you got to check yourself, because you saw what the football gods did. The eyes of Texas are on you.
Oh, that's not good.
As we digress, Tasha, it is a huge day for college football. And for our Tennessee brethren and sistren, it's basically two words. Alabama week. It's Bama week, baby. The Vols and the Alabama Crimson Tide lock horns on good old Rocky Top this afternoon. Tasha, are you going to be watching that on the Michigan game? Truth be told.
I'm going to be
at the same time.
No, I'm going to be flipping back and forth.
I am too. Michigan, you haven't earned the right for me not to flip the game on you. Don't agree with Tasha. We're moving on. I'm tired of Tasha winning this argument. Love you to Detroit, but show some respect. I agree. Tasha, both of these teams are coming in this game, Bama and UT, after suffering some pretty bad losses. UT lost to an unranked Arkansas. Of course, we talked about last week Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. Is this a playoff elimination game today between Alabama and Tennessee?
Yes, because you cannot justify putting a 2-loss Alabama or a 2-loss Tennessee anywhere in the championship. Well, depending on how everything falls out, you never know, because both of them, whoever goes with this loss, could go out. Well, no, 2 losses, you're done. I got to say that. Unless.
See, that's the beauty of the 12-team playoff, as you ponder over that.
So what if Texas loses today? That's 1 loss. Georgia would have 1 loss. Bama or Tennessee, the Bama or Tennessee winner will have 1 loss. So what do you do? So a two loss in that case, a 2-loss team would be completely out according to the SEC, the way the SEC is slated. A 2-loss team is done for.
Now, Mike says Bama could still get in as the SEC champ.
Not with 2 losses.
With 2 losses, if they have 2 losses, and now if Texas loses to Georgia, I think the 1-game cushion keeps everybody in play. But if Texas beats Georgia, anybody that's 2 games in the clear of Texas is going to be in serious trouble. And you might have a team like a LSU with 1 loss.
Right.
Creep into that championship game and mess it up for everybody. Remember, They did drop to USC in the season opener, but they've been rolling ever since, and they're currently 8th in the country. So this has huge implications. Now, AP Culture says Rocky Top's going to bring it to Bama today. Tennessee has lost 16 of the last 17. That one memorable game with the Hennessy on deck and Peyton Manning smoking his cigar, and they carrying the goalposts out. Right? Could we see that again? We will let you know in our picks coming up in just a moment. I'll play with Tennessee Vols against Alabama. I think I'm kind of leaning that way as well, but we shall see. Now, in the nightcap, the doubleheader, we got Texas and Georgia in another huge game. The SEC, my God, they're putting in work today. Tasha? Oh, but before we get to that game, one more question about Alabama. If Alabama loses today and they're out of the playoffs, is Caleb DeBoer, should he be feeling the heat?
No, because no one really expected him to come out and be worth a damn anyway.
Okay.
I mean, it's expected at Bama to win. I mean, you did have a drop-off from Gene Stallings after Gene Stallings had started losing, though.
Right.
I can't remember who was after Gene Stallings, but then when you get Saban in there, it just revived the whole program.
It was the guy from Notre Dame that lied on his resume and got fired before he even took the job. Remember? it was him.
That's
right. So it was him. So basically, they ought to be glad that happened because the timing of it got Saban there, and the rest was history. I think that they'll give him a little more grace than that. But Alabama, fan-wise, missing a 12-team playoff is unconscionable. I don't know. I think
it is. I mean, but the way these conferences are now, these super conferences are set up now, it was supposed to benefit, but when your favorite or who you think should be there ain't getting in, what's going to be the complaint next year?
Right. I want a piece of that goal post when we knock Bama off. It's time to bury them. And if there's going to be a team to bury them, it's only fitting for it to be good old Rocky Top. Woo! Rocky Top. Tennessee. Now, Texas and Georgia. Georgia is leaving the hedges and going down to Austin. This is going to be a big one. Tasha, I'm really torn on how this game could possibly play out. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question about Georgia as I did about Alabama and UT. Is this an elimination game if Georgia doesn't get it done tonight?
I mean, I think it's the same thing, especially if Bama wins, because I mean, they always say, "Oh, well, they lost to this team, and this team is now ranked here," but not with the way these conferences are aligned. It just doesn't work like that anymore.
To your point, Tasha, to back you up with some nerd stats, we saw Ohio State go out to Oregon last week and lose, and they dropped one spot. They dropped from 2 spots, 2 to 4 is where they dropped. That didn't hurt them at all. At all. They can literally lose to Michigan and be right back in the thick of things. So, to your point,
no, again, what else is the Big Ten doing? If Oregon does not,
I think
how are you going to justify putting the FIs in if Penn State is still out there rolling? If Oregon is
point, Penn State is still undefeated, and they don't play Michigan this year.
So you can't justify putting a 2-loss team in these new super conference eras in there when you have 1-loss teams.
Now Mike says both conferences are going to have 3 teams in.
But I don't think it'll be a 2-loss team.
It's going to be tough because you're looking at 2 spots going to the Big Ten champion and the SEC champion.
Well, Mike, you know what? Mike, you're right. Because look at what the other 2 conferences are doing.
Right.
They don't have any teams. There you, Mike, you spot
on.
Right.
Right. Mike, we retweeting that because, you brought that home because we saw the ACC last night. Come on, man. Florida State is a joke.
Because if you go down to ACC, you're going to get Dabo Luther the King in there if Clemson keeps rolling.
Right.
Miami is undefeated. They play Florida State next week. That's 2 teams there. You're going to get 2 SEC teams in, maybe 2 Big Ten teams in.
And the Big 12 is only getting the champion in.
Right. The Big 12 is only getting the champion in. That's 6 teams right there.
Right. So and then you get the group of 5 at 7. Yeah, Mike, the numbers bear out in your favor.
Right, Mike. I mean, but then what would that do to a team like a SMU who's in the ACC now who ain't losing?
Y'all, this 12-team format has done exactly what it was designed to do for fan bases because everybody still has a fighter's chance.
So Mike is right. So if Alabama I think they would shaft Tennessee with 2 losses.
I think so too.
But they would put Bama in with 2 losses. They would definitely put the FIs in with 2 losses.
And if Vanderbilt keeps winning, with every Vanderbilt win, the loss looks less and less like a catastrophe for Alabama.
Right.
If you're able to get out of Knoxville with a win and continue on and get to the SEC championship game. Gonna be some fascinating stuff. I cannot wait to see these games get started. All right, now it's time for Michigan Mike's Locks of the Week. Of course, he is live on location at his garage sale. Make sure if you're in McKinney, you stop by and show some love. Get you some quality items.
They got some good stuff out there.
Right.
It's like being in Franklin or Brentwood.
Right. So make sure you stop. I'm not going to give his address out on social media in case he got some enemies. But you should. But if you did have his address,
got a lot of enemies.
All right, now we love you too. She's out. Farrah's getting ready to do her show. Make sure you check out our take right after this show. It's just like Get Up and First Take. Just block your first 2 hours of your Saturday morning for these 2 shows, and then go on and enjoy you a good day of football. That's how we roll. We're the lead-in show for Farrah and Terrence T. Double. So good luck with your show today. We will be checking it out. If Vandy and Tennessee get in, I'm gonna laugh hard. Kenny, you can say them laughs. Vandy's in the back of the line, like. I'm not gonna do that because my mama's watching. No. They're at the back. They Rosa Parks. They're gonna have to just sit up there and not move. They're in the back of the bus. All right. Now, Mike's locks this week. He's taking Michigan money line over Illinois. I think Michigan is a 1-point underdog right now. So he's taking Michigan money line. Tasha,
wait a minute. Now that you said that, Indiana is also ranked.
Indiana is
Illinois, Penn State, Oregon, the F5s.
The Big Ten is looking a lot better than we thought, and Michigan is ranked. I mean, barely, but we're still ranked. And we should see. What are your thoughts about that game today? Speaking of which, do you think the bye week will help us get it together?
If they didn't go out and buy a quarterback, I don't know.
And we're gonna roll on that one because I totally agree with that premise. We'll see. Jack Toto, you're 137 years old. Act like it. Your old ass. Get out there and quit turning the damn ball over. You don't turn the ball over. And Wink Martindale, can we please stop with the all-out blitzes? The secondary's not holding up on the back end. Stop with the all-out blitzes. Illinois' quarterback is very, very good. He's leading the Big Ten in touchdown passes.
Big 12 got Utah. Now, that we saying that Nebraska. I'm sorry,
Mike. You got her waist. Mike got us stuck on the count. All right. No. Also for the NFL, he has take Philly -3 versus the New York Giants. Now he did pick Michigan and Philly, 2 teams that he does watch very closely. So, and he hadn't missed on one in a few weeks. So if you need some rent money coming, the end of the month is coming up. Hey, you need that rent money. Hey, call on old Mike. He got you. All right. Now it's time for our pick 5, ladies and gentlemen. Tasha and Mike are tied for the lead. I'm sick of being in last place, but alas, that's the hands that is dealt me. Although I'm not that far back now. I'm only 4 games back. I finally got over 50%. Martrice Hastings. You hear me, Martrice? I'm over 50% now, okay? Now I'm picking with my heart on these games, so I might check back with me next week and see where we are. Where we are. But let's get it started. Let's start with Rocky Top. Tasha, Tennessee, Alabama. Who you got?
They're in Knoxville. I'm gonna go Roll Tide on that one.
Oh, you're going Roll Tide. Mike, I'm pulling up his picks now. I think Mike is going Roll Tide as well. Yes, he's going Roll Tide. I'm going with good old Rocky Top. Woo! The Polynesian Prince. He's been struggling the last few weeks. That offense has looked atrocious, but so has Alabama's defense. If you can't beat Vanderbilt and you're struggling against South Carolina, I don't think you're going to beat
Alabama and Georgia got the same defense. They out there skating.
Right. And hopefully Michigan is skating without a stick as well. Blitz, Tennessee, blitz. I'm still in the Alabama Willie line. Okay, let's do that.
I don't mean skating without a stick. I mean they literally out there skating on ice.
Right. All right. They can't cover nobody. Let's go. Texas, Georgia. Tasha, who you got?
Ooh.
I'm torn on this one.
Oh, because for the parity of it all, I want Georgia to win.
I do too.
Ooh, okay. Who do I think will win versus who I really want to win?
Torrance, this was not smoke, Torrance. This was like, hey, y'all got the 2-point conversion. I mean, you got the onside kick. We thought we was rooting for y'all. We're Tennesseans at heart. We always want Tennessee to beat Bama. But we want Bama to lose any other time. Go ahead, Tasha.
I'm gonna make old Jarrell feel happy, and I'm gonna say hook 'em.
Mike is saying hook 'em as well. Y'all, that's the trifecta. I want to pick Georgia, but Texas is unstoppable. They got 2 Heisman candidate quarterbacks. Let me digress.
And when all your receivers and running backs are out here running like the cheetah.
Right. We saw them choke us out like Debo. And Stroll them out, Debo. All right. Detroit and Minnesota, Tasha. This is an interesting game. Minnesota's coming off a bye. They're 5-0. And Detroit is coming off a great, impressive win over Dallas, but they're down Aiden Hutchinson. What say you?
I'm going to go with Minnesota.
I'm going with Minnesota as well. Go ahead.
Because I think, I know they were, he was trying to be petty when they said that the player didn't get the call in last time when Dallas beat them. And he was like, okay, we're going to show. But I think maybe he showed too much. Yeah. And Minnesota had time to sit back and watch that and dissect that tape.
Robert Flores doesn't need 2 weeks to devise the game plan to shut your ass down.
Not at all. He may not be a good head coach, but he's a damn good defensive coach.
And since we're an hour into the show, I think I can say this safely. I think Detroit blew their wad last week. I think they put, like, to your point, with all of the trick plays and all of the fanfare, I think that was their Super Bowl. And it will show a test of character if they are able to come back behind this and beat a very, very talented and sound Minnesota team. I just don't see it happening. And it could be personal because I didn't like the way they did Jerry Jones. All right. Now, a Super Bowl rematch. Wow, Tasha, there are some great games this weekend. Good job by you, Mike, with these.
Hashtag FTTB. Next.
When are y'all going to understand? And Mike, of course, picked San Francisco because he hates Patrick Mahomes. When are y'all going to get on board that Kansas City can't be beat? They're indestructible. They're indestructible. If first it was Baltimore going to be the one to get them. No, Baltimore didn't. Then it's supposed to be such and such, but no, they didn't get it.
Yay, area.
Then we rolled, then we. See, she always get me off focus when she starts doing music because that's just the era that we came up in. So you're going San Francisco. Mike's going San Francisco. Y'all quit picking against Patrick Mahomes. I thought y'all wanted. He's never lost to San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen. 4-0, about to be 5-0. Although, I think San Francisco. I think this could be like the Washington-Michigan rematch. It's like the loser always puts more emphasis on the rematch than the winner does. The winner will say, "Oh, but we won the Super Bowl," and the loser's like, "No, we still got blood in our mouth because we had y'all asses beat 4th and 2."
And I think it's the stupidest thing because at the end of the day, y'all still didn't win the big prize. So,
and this is coming from a 49er fan.
I hate when they say revenge games on any level. It's not a revenge game because there's no revenge when somebody won the Super Bowl over you.
Right, because they're not going to hand over the Lombardi if they lose. So you're right, to your point.
Y'all see how I did that? Y'all think I'm cute because my locks is grown.
Hey, pop, lock and drop it. Pop, lock and drop it. Hey, pop, lock and drop it. Hey, pop, lock and drop it. Oh, all right. Last but not least, we got a Monday night game. Y'all, I think y'all need to stay up for this one. Hold on, wait a minute. Mike says, like Washington versus Michigan. Y'all, wait till that rematch in Ann Arbor. Mike might be at that damn game. Mike was not happy about y'all storming the field like y'all did something. Y'all be the shell of the last team.
Right. Y'all, the storming the field is getting old.
Right.
Unless now Vanderbilt deserved it.
Right. That was worthy. That was worthy.
And then like how Colorado stormed the field the other. Why?
Now, Colorado. Now, I'm going to give Colorado a pass for one reason because no, the opponent was not worthy. I think it was the manner in which it was a Hail Mary. And then they get the fumble. It was the way they won the game that the kids just went crazy.
That wasn't a storm the field type of game, especially coming from a program like Colorado, who has in the past ain't been worth a damn, but they have a lineage and a history of winning.
They do. Shout out to Cordell Stewart and Eric Bieniemy. But I wanna say this, and I want to bring it back to your cooking for a second. It's like I stormed the field for your omelet. To you, it was just breakfast. To you, it was just some fettuccine with shrimp and chicken in it. To you, it was like, I make this all the time. The sauteed bell peppers. To you, it was like, okay, this is something quick. To me, I stormed the damn field. I had my shirt off. I'm running around, hugging the cameraman. So I can understand how a starving fan base like Colorado, who's not used to the finer things in life, may storm the field in that situation. I digress. Monday Night Football. This one here is going to be tricky. Baltimore. They play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, before we give our picks, Baker Mayfield is leading the NFL in touchdown passes. Chris Godwin has recaptured the Tom Brady Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans is still a walking 1,000-yard season.
No, because he only got me like 5 or 6 fantasy points. They had 51 points, and I only got 5.
Don't you hate those kind of games? Like, wherefore is my points? Well, Baltimore's pass defense is shaky, and I'm being nice when I say shaky. They shaky like a stripper. So, with that being said, all right, shouts out to Mike. With that being said, Tasha, who are you going with? The Ravens or the Buccaneers? As long as the king is donning them purple and black cleats, I'm on the road with Baltimore, and so will Mike. Now, Tasha, it's been a long time since we've had a T-Sizzles Top 5, but I couldn't think of a better opportunity to bring your coveted segment back into the fold. Now, for those that didn't see Kenny's comment earlier, Kawhi Leonard is out indefinitely as we are literally 3 days away from the start of the NBA regular season. First of all, damn, they was only out for 6 weeks. Like, the NBA is already back. I digress, because John Moran is back healthy, and the Memphis Grizzlies are about to do some things this year. But we're going to talk about Kawhi. He's out indefinitely. We heard what you said about him in the summer when he removed himself from Team USA. He's out indefinitely now. Before we get into your T-Sizzle Top 5, what are your thoughts on Kawhi as it relates to his future?
Didn't I send you that and say you need to go on and call a career, boy? And y'all know I'm going to stand for 2 people in the NBA. It's KD and that's Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, son, you got to go.
Wow. Yeah. I think they need to spell his name a KWHY, because why are you still paying him? Why is he still in the league? I'm going to just keep it there.
I mean, it's just the fact that you have not been – okay, you came back after you got injured. Was against Golden State. You came back, you played, you went to Toronto, you won the championships. But when your game is involving you stopping, your knees, you hear there, knees have taken out many a giant.
So with that being said, let's segue that into your segment. T-Sizzle's Top 5, what could have been, if not for injuries, players of all time. Tasha, the floor is yours.
Speaking of knees, a lot of you people do not remember this player, but I remember because back in the day, I was a Georgetown fan, and I remember when this player got drafted before Patrick Ewing, and I remember he's on the front of the Sports Illustrated, laid out all 7'4" of him, saying, "Patrick Ewing, I'm waiting on you." That is one Mr. Ralph Sampson. What did I say about knees? Ralph Sampson only played, 2 or 3 decent seasons. The rest of him, he was just, I think he was in the league for 9 years. Right. The knees took that man completely out.
He was not on my list. Good job.
Then I even went back, what could have been, we don't know, but what we saw in college led us to believe that this man was going to be a superstar. And that's the joking way we say LeBron James' daddy, Greg Oden.
Right. Okay. So that's on the list. Greg Oden, former number 1 overall pick.
Also, and again, it's the knees. Do y'all remember Danny Manning?
Yes. Kansas. Yeah.
We didn't hear much about Danny Manning anymore because of his knees.
Right.
He had a stellar career. My cousin played against him back in the day when it was the Big 8. My cousin was at Oklahoma. Danny Manning was the bee's knees, but But the knees just kind of took him away from here. Yes. The next person I'm going to say, a lot of you may not remember because this kid never even really got a chance. And I remember because Michigan got hosed out of that national championship because that was all ball by Trey Burke.
It was.
I remember the kid, Kevin Ware.
Yeah.
The Elite 8, they were playing Duke. and his bone broke so much it was protruding out of his.
Yeah. Disgusting. Yeah.
Now he made a comeback, and I think he ended up going to Georgia State, Georgia Southern, one of those schools. He graduated, played overseas, but for him to be able to even come back and still play, we don't know what could have been.
Right.
Would he have made it to the NBA if not for that injury? And my number one, and we all know who this person is Derrick Rose.
Who just retired this year after.
Shouts out to Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
That kid, oh my God, he was like lightning in a bottle. And
Yeah.
one thing, even though he took a lot of punches, people were saying he wasn't smart, he was slow, because I think at the time when he was getting ready to get drafted, and the Bulls called him and they were like, "Oh, we want to draft you, but we can't have your brothers come along with you." If you guys don't know, the area where they grew up in Chicago, gang ridden. His brother joined the gang just to protect Derrick. And the first thing Derrick said, if my brothers can't go, I'm not going. Now, people may think that's stupid, but he stood up for his family, because he was like, I'm supposed to cut my brother off because of what he did to help us. Derrick Rose he was the youngest MVP in the NBA ever.
Mm-hmm.
Had his knees not messed up, they would have beat Cleveland that year. And no one's going to tell me any different.
I'm going to tell you different.
Whatever. I joke. I say his knees is made of glass. His knees is made of paper mache. But Derrick Rose, had he not had those injuries, Derrick Rose, we would be talking about him higher than we do. Not about what if.
I agree. And Mike agrees with you as well. And remember 2019, Tasha, when she was doing all that Kawhi talk when he was in Toronto, he ain't no LeBron James. Bad. Go James. Goat James. Now, Tasha, there was one that you left off your list that I'm a little surprised, because I feel like this guy would have been top 5 all time if not for his hideous injuries to his knees. That's one.
Willis Reed.
That's Penny Hardaway stopping.
I had Penny on my list too, but
okay.
Because I think the best of Penny's career was when him and Shaq were in Orlando. So I didn't put him on there because I really didn't think it made a difference, kind of like after they broke up, because we didn't hear about the Orlando Magic anymore. Now Penny's down there trying to stay eligible and not trying. Well, now it's legal to pay players.
Right. No, that's right in his wheelhouse. Memphis,
right.
Yeah, Memphis will be back. And the greatest of any sport, what if not for injury? I'm going to give a shout out to Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson. Now, I don't know what you're agreeing on, Mike, but ain't nobody asked you. But Bo Jackson is the biggest what could have been if not for injury in the history of sports.
Vincent
running up the
Edward
wall.
Jackson down there from Bessemer, Alabama, the home of Jameis Winston too. Guys, man, what a time to be alive.
Yes.
See Bo Jackson run up that wall when he played for the Kansas City Royals.
Yes. And what he did when he was with the Los Angeles Raiders, running all over them, and that hip drop tackle ended his damn career. That's why Cincinnati's been jinxed ever since that. Now, Mike says that Bo Jackson is going to be in Allen in a couple of weeks for a Dallas card show. Y'all come out. Mike, I need that autograph. Can you get him on the show? Can you get him on the show? We're going to be nice. We ain't going to do him like they did Jerry Jones and start asking him a bunch of messy questions. We're going to get him on the show. All right. Tasha, who you shouting out this week?
I'm shouting out, number one, Sasha's dad. He was inducted into the Lane College Hall of Fame. I think it was last night. So shouts out to one, Damon Matthews. I don't think they're watching today. I'm not sure. I didn't get a mean text from Sasha.
You just talked her up.
She did. Okay. I also want to give a shout out to everyone. While I was gone, Gino was gone too. So shouts out to everyone that was in our home, taking care of our pets, taking care of our house, and making sure that the house was not a pigsty when we came back home. And lastly, I don't know if Paul's going to do this shout out. She's already gone off the show. Y'all, I got a new best friend, and her name is Farrah. y'all, y'all. When I say her and her partner put just on a whim, y'all, we went over there. We had sliders with all the toppings. We had 2 or 3 different varieties of wings. They got a machine that you can make your own liquor, clear or dark. She
Yes.
has a game room and
Yes.
a media room that Paul went in there and started meddling around with the people's chairs. I couldn't operate the chair.
Hey, I got mine to lean with it, rock with it though.
Hey, y'all, shout it out to Faradar.
Yeah. Farrah, thank you so much for your hospitality. You and your lovely partner, you all were so kind and gracious to us. We really appreciate that. I'm coming back with or without Tasha. I know where you live now. I got you saved in my GPS. Anytime y'all want to get a game in, I would love to finish my round of Galaga. Y'all, I was playing Galaga in their
She got
playroom.
the old, the old game room.
Yes. And
Oh, I
congratulations.
forgot. Shouts out to Ingrid taking us to that burger restaurant.
Yes, Ingrid. Yes. My
With
new best friend, Ingrid.
with
Keep going. It's my new best friend.
y'all want a house? Is your DFW home girl, Ingrid Lawson.
Now, Mike, you already know that you're my plus one now that Tasha's back overseas. So whenever you get your hall pass, let me know. We'll go over there. And when I tell you when you get in that recliner to watch that game.
And y'all, she told us all we had to do was bring our spend the night bag. She had a whole 2 extra rooms.
I am not allowing my child to spend the night nowhere on the first visit. Y'all know I was raised in the 80s.
Well, I'm about to move in. If I come back,
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna see you and Ingrid. I'm just
ask our sisters invited. Right, Farrah. Like anybody who's with me is gonna be a plus one. We'll bring some paper towels or some napkins or whatever you need. A bag of ice.
Some cheesecake drizzled in.
Yes, that was great, and that was worth the drive out. I want to give a shout out. Speaking of Stephanie Coates, I want to give a shout out to the Una Bears who are out there putting in that work. Give a shout out to my nephew Carter. Let me.
Look at that. Stand up a little so we can see the number. Stand up. Y'all see it?
Let's go.
Get them quads to burning.
Right, my quads all burning. I need to sit my ass back down. Shouts out coaches on the big screen. Shouts out to my nephew Carter and the Una Bears who are out there kicking a little bit of butt. I'm gonna say butt since they're kids. Yeah, Mike said keep working, Carter. That's right, keep working. I am very, very proud of you. And we can't give a shout out to a culture without giving a shout out to our matriarch, the Queen Redbone herself, Miss AP Culture, who will be turning 21 on Friday. She's finally old enough to drink, y'all, this Friday. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love for you all to wish my mom a happy, happy birthday. AP Culture, I love you. And you don't drink, so we'll take you gambling since you're old enough to drink now. So, happy birthday, mama. I love you. Let's go playing Bordeaux today and homecoming game tomorrow. Playoffs in Kentucky in November. You see us. I'm rocking. I'm wearing this shirt to HEB today. We're gonna get this thing to go viral.
Not to the hell.
We going to the hell. Mike says, "Go Blue! Happy birthday! Happy 70th!" AP Culture. Oh, the blue hearts, y'all! It's time for a humongous day of college football and a huge day of NFL football tomorrow. The Titans are going to finally upset the world and beat the Buffalo Bills. I just had to say that just in case it happened. I know, Tasha. I know. A man can dream. A man can certainly dream. Tasha, can you take us out of here?
Vamos Azul.
We'll see you next week. Michigan Mike will be back in the house. Peace.